We have it. And Ashley.
I don't think my transcript. She told me she's coming.
Ashley said she was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll wait and see if that's for them, and then
This was open, that's the normal thing.
Okay, so I'm going to start recording for the purpose.
Yes, please. Yes, please. I need to do something.
There's chairs over here. Have you moved some? I got it. I set it up. Sí, toma asiento, por favor. Este concilio local de escuela se reúne una vez al mes y siempre es el tercer mes, el tercer miércoles del mes. There's a local school council and we meet once a month on the third Wednesday of the month.
she said she was coming. Somebody just rang the bell. What are we going? I'll go ahead and
We
call
can
it.
start.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and call this order, and then we'll just update the attendance if she comes in. Okay. It is 5:53. Yes.
We'll go ahead and roll call it. Ms. Kern?
Here.
Annabelle Alvarez?
Here.
Israel Flores, not in attendance today. Alonso Zaragoza? And Mr. Garces?
Present.
Myself, Dr. Lopez. Ashley Guzman Piran?
He's here.
We can correct it if she was. Ms. Ariana Humphrey? Here. And Mr. Jacob Speaker?
Here.
Ms. Vanessa McKay?
She is no longer on the other side.
She's absent.
Okay. And then
She did submit her resignation officially.
Anthony Principal Escamilla?
Present.
So for the record, I would like her to be stated as absent, and then
Is
in the process, I think we can establish that we accept the resignation.
Do we get vote on that?
Yeah.
She currently is listed as absent.
Yes.
Okay.
I think right now it's just 6 minutes. So. Thank you. 8 members present. Which means we do have 4.
Has everybody had a minute to look over the agenda?
So, estamos dando unos minutos para revisar la agenda y aprobar la agenda. La directora, la presidenta indicó.
If it's not really the agenda, we cannot vote on it, so we'll have to put it on next agenda. I never. Yeah, I think you guys are going to actually vote to approve it.
that was just.
Yeah, that is, so. Okay. Does anybody have any changes that they would like to propose to the agenda? Okay, do we have a motion to approve it?
A motion.
A second.
So the initial motion.
So se hizo la moción para aprobar la agenda, la moción fue hecha por el señor Zaragoza y fue secundada por quién?
Ms. Humphrey?
Miss Humphrey, la señorita
Humphrey.
And fue aprobado, secundado por ella y pasó la moción.
We're just going to do them a show of hands and who is in support of approving the agenda? Anyone against? Agenda is approved?
La agenda fue aprobada.
You see everybody doesn't see.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And so then, please take a moment if you didn't already to look at the minutes.
Estamos revisando las minutas del mes pasado, que fue diciembre 20. So I just added that it was December 20th.
Okay. Any edit that we need to make? It's very nothing. It's messed up. Okay. In the next section. Last short of paragraph. Is it the last one? The last one is, under the reports. Got it.
We can't, I'm not sure if everybody heard what was the edit.
I said there was just a typo in Ms. Humphrey's last.
So, se está pidiendo editar el apellido de la señora Humphrey. Señorita. En la última parte.
Oh, these are good. Okay. Now I understand my mistake about Mrs. McDavid's, her resignation, because I brought it up in January, but we didn't have minutes because it wasn't. Okay, any other changes that anybody wants to propose? Do we have a motion to approve that?
I just have a comment. There's nothing in Spanish here. Or the Spanish speaking. Yo hice un comentario de que no hay nada traducido al español porque nuestras juntas son bilingües y toda documentación de
So we have approved them as is, but with a note that next month we will approve the, we will vote on the Spanish version, where we can hold off on approving them until that is ready. I personally would like to make a motion for the latter, but it's like if you guys would prefer to make a motion for
There's
that.
also no end time, so I don't know if
Oh, thank you. So we need to look that up in the video. Do you mind if I did?
Oh, sí. joven speaker acaba de indicar que también encontró que no había una fecha de una hora de terminación de la junta. Y I didn't know what you proposed because you're so far from here.
Okay. I can propose that we just hold off on approving them until the Spanish translations are ready,
Okay.
rather than approving half and then having to revote them.
Sería que está haciendo la próxima junta debido a que está faltando la traducción en español. En vez de aprobarlo ahorita a mitad y luego tener que volverlo a visitar nuevamente.
Do you guys have a second? Oh,
Yeah, I move to table the approval of these minutes for our next meeting.
okay.
I'll second.
So, la moción se hizo de que se reserve las minutas para la próxima junta, para revisar a la próxima junta, pues esa es la próxima sala.
Mr. Foreman is making the initial motion and Mr. Speaker is making the second, is that correct?
In here? We're new business. Okay. Before we go over the first one, I have a quick question. Is JROTC still selling the chocolates?
No, the fundraiser had ended.
Okay, I want to make sure before we approve it, before we discuss someone else selling the same thing. Okay, so the first one then is for those same chocolates that JROTC was selling, but to be done for the Hispanic Honor Society.
So, la pregunta inicial era si JROTC estaba todavía haciendo la venta de chocolates y acaban de reportar que no se está haciendo la venta de chocolates. Antes de aprobarlo, yo quería saber por qué hay otras chocolates que se quieren vender en la escuela y quería evitar conflictos.
Yeah. Any feedback on that before you move to motions about the questions here?
The problems. Correct. Correct.
Oh, I didn't even. Sorry. Looking right in front of me.
No worries.
Okay, so that was for the flowers, that was not for chocolates, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you happen to know offhand what the profit ended up being on your chocolate sales?
Yeah, 1 second.
Just that'll just give us an idea of how, like, what your projection will be.
Our profits were $2,760.
Can you repeat that number?
2,760.
And how many plastic chocolate fruit bars are you planning to order up front?
We were thinking about 30 boxes because we only have 14 members.
Okay.
And of course I included myself in there. So we don't have it. Yes, that's.
Do you mind translating that?
Ya que, how many boxes did you say? 30 que van a ordenar 30 cajas de chocolates porque nomás tienen 14 miembros en el club, en el grupo. Y que eso incluye a la maestra también.
I have a question. Where are we in terms of the fundraisers? We're approving the Hispanic Honor Society one?
Yeah, that is the first one.
That's the first
So
one.
I had questions for Caesar because JROTC had done a very similar fundraiser, and so that way we could kind of look at like their success with it and how that could be applied to make sure that we're looking at
Okay.
realistic expectations.
So, estamos hablando sobre la recaudación de fondos de la Sociedad Hispánica.
Sociedad Honoraria Hispana.
Hispánica, ok. Thank you. Y están hablando sobre la aprobación de la recaudación de fondos a través de venta de chocolates.
Other than what is on here, is there anything else that you want us to know about your fundraiser?
So the reason we are fundraising is to help subsidize some cake hopefully and for graduation regalia. in their induction ceremony. We are planning the induction ceremony for our pickup day in the library, so it'll be more communal, so that everyone can be a part of it. Or if they're interested, I can't force them. That would be nice. So we wanted to make it school-wide so that others can participate and also lure in prospective members for next year as well. So that's our. Nosotros queremos recaudar los fondos para que los chicos puedan ordenar sus regalias cuando se gradúen. Tenemos 10 de último año que van a necesitar toques, bueno, no toques, pero los cordones de honores que representan el club, y la presidenta también podrá ponerse no hábito, pero ¿cómo se le llama? Can't think of the word for soul in Spanish, but
Una estola.
okay, y entonces este es donde sí también queremos celebrar con la ceremonia para que ellos tomen su juramento de ser miembros el día 11 de abril, que es el día de recoger las calificaciones de los chicos. Entonces creemos que haciendo así en un día donde el colegio está abierto a todos, y que sean también miembros prospectivas para el próximo año, o sea, los papás también, para que sepan qué es lo que tenemos en la sociedad. Y es un buen grupo, tenemos un buen grupo de chicos y ellos quieren colaborar, quieren vender, quieren tener sus decoraciones de la graduación.
Does the group only sell the chocolates here on campus, or would you guys be able to go to like other places as a group and sell there?
Yeah, I'm giving them 2 boxes. Yeah, so yeah, I would say it's open, mostly to the school-wide, and then if they want to go out and sell, that's great too. I'm open either way.
Le pregunté si el grupo nomás va a vender los chocolates aquí en la escuela o si va a poder fuera en eventos de la comunidad o algo, y dijo que les dio las cajas y ellos lo pueden vender donde sea, pero está abierta a que vendan afuera de la escuela también.
Any other questions?
Acá tenemos representantes del grupo, Natalie, que es nuestra vicepresidenta, Edith, y Adriana, y
I don't see the fundraiser like not doing well, especially considering that like ROTC just selling it in the building, getting to pay is insane. So I doubt that we would have to go outside of the school. So yeah.
And we have leeway in case we do decide to get more boxes. We just budgeted for 30 at the moment, but that's my question.
Yeah, so we have to approve it as you fill it out.
Okay.
But like if you come back, say next month, and you're like, that did so well that we underestimated, and you can then have a new proposal, just go ahead and approve it.
Sounds good. Okay. Thank you for that.
So I move that it is, do we have a time for that?
Do we have what?
To approve it yet, or?
We don't have a motion for it yet. Do you mind just really quick just translating her question about, so she had asked if they can order more than she requested for approval for
Oh,
it.
sí.
We have to approve it as it stands.
Please say, Mr. Darius, please.
Yes. Pregunté nada más si podríamos, si algo pasa y vendemos todo, podríamos no traer más, pero ellos dicen que a lo mejor tendremos que poner otra propuesta para la próxima junta. Entonces era mi pregunta si podríamos vender más, pero quizás en la próxima junta. Vamos a ver cómo nos va.
I know we're always happy to have you here. Like if you are like, I am busy and you need to submit, you can just submit the form, and we can, if you want to add more, we can still vote on it even if you can't make it.
Okay.
Do you want to say that? Sorry, my Spanish is
Porque si la próxima junta no puedo asistir, no podemos asistir, que nada más tenemos que someter la propuesta y que ellos lo miren.
Okay. So you were making a motion to approve?
Correct. I motion that the sale of the chocolates for the fundraiser for the Hispanic Honor Society is approved as stated in this document. So yo hago la moción de que se apruebe la recaudación de fondos como indica en este documento.
Second.
Gracias.
Is all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstained?
So the next one is for JROTC.
Can we acknowledge a new member arrived?
Yeah.
In the minutes, please?
Yeah, you already
You
did,
are
right?
marked or Charlie, do I have to then?
No. So that it's also acknowledged in the recording, I guess.
Okay.
So, estoy diciendo que estamos reconociendo públicamente de que en récord de que tú acabas de entrar a la Junta. Okay?
So the next one is through JROTC to sell churros. My first question is, when people who don't go to school come back? Send me the info. I said, my question is, so it will just be at school, right?
Yeah, it will be selling during the lunch periods, 4 through 7, and
Okay.
as long as you have some money, we'll take it.
So it's on the form. There you go. Anticipating.
Are you guys making or buying or churros?
So we're going to be buying churros from CPS Alexander, Delicious down the block.
Okay.
We were originally going to go with a different company, but we found out that they did not renew their CPS certification. But Delicious, theirs is still active. They recently did theirs, and when I spoke to them, they said they got the churros for Alexander.
Okay. How is your Spanish? Do you need somebody from policy to
Oh
translate?
yeah, my Spanish is I can talk, but I can't say.
Okay. Please somebody mind translating?
I didn't hear what you said, I'm sorry. I was not paying.
That we would be selling the churros for $1. We would be buying churros for $1 from Delicious. They are a CPS certified vendor.
Va a estar comprando los churros de alguien que hace business con el distrito y les van a costar cada churro $1 y los van a vender por 2 durante los periodos de almuerzo.
Any other questions?
So is it safe to assume in this cost, anticipated expense of $2,719 that in return you're going to get 2,000 churros to sell?
No. So we'd be buying 2,500 churros, and the extra cost is going to be for the other materials that we're going to need to sell the churros, like the churro warmer, which is just like to keep them warm so they'll get cold, and then also the parchment paper that we need to buy as a donut.
Are you required to buy that amount at like over what kind of time period, or can like do you have to buy them all up front, or can it be like on a weekly basis or something?
So they told me that whatever amount we want to order, we would just have to let them know the week before, and they can get it to us. I did let them know that our first order would be only for 50 churros, and if those sell well, then the following Thursday would be 100. But if it doesn't sell well, they would be staying at 50 per day or something.
Do you want to
So I want to get this clear. So you're purchasing about 50 per day. If
Yes.
the sales go well, and if they don't, then
We're staying.
dice que cuenta por Delicious cada día y si las ventas van bien y si no van bien van a pagar con 50.
It's only on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, I see the list.
Okay, yeah, you said every
Yeah.
day was on Thursday.
Perdón, los martes y los jueves.
Okay, and so that will start next week.
Correct.
Okay.
they're just waiting for this approval and then said you can have it.
Yep. Excellent.
So there are 27 days that you're doing this?
That is the, yes. As long as nothing cancels the day of school or student teacher.
But you said it was Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Correct, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then there is 1 or 2 weeks where there's no school that Thursday because there's a performance pickup that week, so then it has to go to spot. And there's some weeks that.
Okay, so yo estoy preguntando si son 27 días de esta actividad y me dice que sí. Y mi pregunta era también que si son los martes, realmente son los martes y jueves, y él dijo que sí.
Are you not anticipating the spell to do
That is one of the days. But yeah, there is a Tuesday, that Tuesday there's no school, but then on that Thursday there is school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the dates reflect that.
Yeah. On the CTS calendar, it says that it'd be this day or this day, so I just put it for that Thursday, and if that date changes, then it'll be the following day.
Okay.
Mi pregunta era si él iba a venir el día de la casa abierta, dice que sí, tus fechas que puso, él anticipó ese jueves, no ese martes porque no hay escuela en ese día, pero sí ese jueves.
Sir, do you want to do something you want to add?
I actually was going to bring that up, being that it's just not being mentioned before. Was that okay if it's done on that day? During the report card pickup?
La pregunta del sargento es que si se puede vender en ese día de la casa abierta.
That would be fine.
Y el principal dice que sí, eso está bien.
Sí.
Anything else you want us to know? Okay. Any other questions for Esther?
Algo más, pregunta la presidenta que tenemos que saber, o otra pregunta más que tiene el concilio.
Are they limited to the 14, like, let's say they sell the 1,400 churros in the first 14 days because they were doing 100. Are they limited to that amount, or could they go above and just continue with the rest of the days?
La pregunta que tiene que saber es que si está limitado a 2,400 en los primeros 14 días que pusieron en la lista.
So the current fundraiser approval reflects for the first day having only 50, and then the second one having 100. This is our estimate, like I said, but as if it doesn't go as well, then we'll be lowering it, and we will be buying churros that we can't sell.
Let me answer the question.
Yeah.
Yes. We can't go beyond that.
So la pregunta, bueno, la respuesta que Dios hizo era que el primer día es 50, el segundo día reflexiona 100, pero si acaso no está vendiendo lo suficiente, pueden rebajar el número, y esa gente dice, la contesta de la pregunta que hizo el señor Zaragoza es que sí, sí podemos ser flexibles con el tamaño.
Yeah, I would just add that if it looks like your projections were often that you could bring us an updated at some point before you sold, as many as we've approved, just say, hey, we want to update our proposal, and then we can go ahead and vote on that.
Si acaso hay un cambio en el tamaño, que antes de vender, si va a haber un cambio en la próxima junta del concilio, antes de esa junta, que pueden traer la nueva presupuesto.
I think my only, our RTC, food handling, how is that going to work?
So we would be using tongs and parchment paper. We would never be touching the physical churro. It'd be we'd have parchment paper and churro, parchment paper to the person. Things like that. All of the cadets that would be doing it also did volunteering at Northwestern, where we also already sold foods to other people. We sold pretzels, which is a very similar way that we would be selling churros.
So la pregunta de la señorita Diana era que cómo iban a preparar la comida, cómo iban a andar con la comida para el sanitario, ¿verdad? Y el CISO dice que ellos van a usar todos para ponerlo en el papel blanco. So, no están tocando la comida, y los estudiantes que están utilizando esta métoda han hecho esto antes en otra venta de pretzels en otra escuela, la Northwestern. So, ya tienen la experiencia de cómo pueden manejar con la comida.
And then they will be using gloves also, and if needed, hairnets. But the churros will be pre-made with them.
Que también se necesitan usar para taparse la cabeza, y guantes plásticos disponibles van a utilizar, y ya los churros vienen cocinados del restaurante que está aquí en la esquina, Delicious. So ya van a estar preparados, solamente calentándolos y poniéndolos en el papel y vendiéndolos así.
Yeah, and for any of you not familiar, Relicious is a blog, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So it is very easy in terms of, like.
Y lo bueno es que el restaurante es menos de un bloque de aquí, so es fácil para poder transportar el tamaño de churros necesario para atrás. Y para
Other questions?
otra pregunta más.
I just wanted to state that because the intention is that ultimately this fundraiser also benefits overall transportation of JROTC, that this is one of the reasons why Sergeant Miles was saying that any additional funds that are gathered during this fundraiser, that they will still be able to utilize these during several years, so that money will stay there for JROTC transportation.
Todos los que van a recoger en este recojo de fondos lo pueden utilizar para transportación del grupo de JROTC, sino en este momento para el futuro, porque siempre están utilizando transportación y siempre hay un costo con esa transportación.
Do we have a motion to approve it? We don't have more questions. I motion.
I'll second.
Okay, so I have Ms. Humphrey for the initial motion, Mr. Sarah for the second. Is there anyone who, all in favor? Todos a favor? Anyone opposed? ¿Alguien en contra? Abstain? ¿Alguien no quiere votar? Motion approved. Pasado.
Gracias. Right. Thank you.
And then Coach F.C.C.A. is not here, but he submitted all of the info. He would like to go ahead and sell t-shirts, hats, and hoodies for the Queens volleyball team. So on here it lists, what he wants to sell it for, his projection on how many this will sell and how much it will make, and then this is just going to go for more equipment and uniforms for the team. I did reach out to him because when I saw this ahead of time, I had a couple of questions, and I knew that he probably would not be able to make it. I asked him if there is a minimum, basically like what happens if they don't sell enough, and he said there is not a minimum that they have to sell in order, so that the projection would just, do you want to explain that? Or do you want to go this? Yeah.
So el equipo de voleibol de los boys, el coach Cricio puso un presupuesto para un recojo de fondos para materiales que necesitan para el equipo, y quiere vender camisetas y cachuchas para poder bajar fondos para lo que necesitan de materiales. La pregunta que tenía la presidenta Kirk era que si tenían que vender un mínimo. Él dice que no. Con la compañía, solamente los proyectores que tenían que posiblemente podían ganar, obvio va a cambiar si no venden lo suficiente, pero no hay ningún contrato que tiene que vender cierto tamaño para poder recibir ganancias o profit.
I have a quick question, Mr. Mayor. There's a section on the form about the proposed use, which he listed above, but he didn't put on the proper line. Am I allowed, if this passes, to edit that, just to fill in the info in the correct line?
And which line are you referring to?
So under the section where it says description of proposed fundraising activity,
Yes.
at the very bottom it says proposed use / distribution of funds. He forgot to write it down in there. He just put it all up at the top of the description.
Yeah, you can write.
Okay.
I do have a question. Primero que nada, hice una pregunta con relación a cómo está escrito el reporte, y como la información está en la parte de arriba, se puede modificar hacia la parte de abajo donde corresponde. So I do have a question. I'm sorry, I was translating what you said.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I have a question that is about, I know we have a previous report, and he has had, but there's no history here. I'm just pointing that out. So yo sé que en el pasado él ha hecho recaudación de fondos y aquí en este formulario pide el historial de eventos pasados donde tuvo este tipo de actividad y esta información está en blanco.
So we approved of the fundraiser, but it ended up not happening, and that's why there's no history update.
So, la presidenta dijo que en la última ocasión se había aprobado la recaudación de fondos, pero en esa ocasión no se hizo la recaudación, por eso no hay un historial de la recaudación de fondos. Thank you for the clarification.
Other questions or a motion? Do we have a motion for it?
I motion to pass.
A second?
All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion passes. Pasado de la moción.
Okay. And then the last fundraiser is from Venezuela for the girls soccer team. This will be their first fundraiser, so there is no history. And then she broke down, because they used to be selling different items, the breakdown of all of it on an attached page. This is the fundraiser that had to be postponed when we did not have quorum. So it's do you mind translating?
So tenemos el último recuerdo de fondo del presupuesto de la señora Venezuela. Ella es la directora del coach del equipo de soccer de las hembras. Y es su primer recojo de fondos porque ella sometió ese presupuesto hace tiempo, pero nunca se pudo aprobar. So no tiene una historia de fondos.
Do we have questions, comments, or a motion?
Preguntas, cuestiones o si alguien quiere mocionar para aprobar.
If we don't have questions, I will take the motion to approve.
¿No hay ninguna pregunta?
I have a question. The anticipated revenue is 768, but the expenses total is 1,007. Should it be reversed?
Oh. Yes.
And then the attached is, I'm guessing, all the calculations?
Yeah.
They just put it in the wrong place.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. And I will edit this one too, because I know that it is for, she forgot to listen for, but I have talked to her about it, and it is for equipment and uniforms.
El señor Zaragoza notó que había un error donde tenía que haber puesto how do you say expenses?
Gastos.
Los gastos puso lo que iban a ganar y en vez de lo que iban a gastar puso lo que solo tiene al revés, solamente hay que cambiarlo y también para especificar que este recojo de fondos es por propósito de equipo también que necesita.
I made the motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Pasado.
So then if you come back to the page in front of the budget, or I mean in front of the fundraisers in your folder, here are the budget transfers. What is the furniture for the library? What are we getting?
Desks and chairs. So right now we have these older wooden chairs and wooden tables there. We're trying to spruce up and bring our library slowly but surely to the 21st century. La pregunta es que qué tipo de muebles vamos a comprar para la biblioteca que está aquí, junto a este salón, y son para nuevas mesas y asientos, para modernizar la biblioteca un poco.
I have a question about the sports uniforms and equipment. Which teams are those for? Because I know some of the teams are fundraising for them. Is that because they were not included in that, or their expenses exceed what is budgeted for their teams?
Well, what we are purchasing are uniforms that are going to stay within the building, and I think the soccer team is going to purchase or practice uniforms that are meant just seasonal. So they're not meant for, like the ones that we buy permanent are going to stay at the school, we'll wash them and reuse them for future students that participate in those teams.
Okay, yeah, and Ms. Village did tell me that she wants her students who keeps them, so that makes sense.
And this is all for the spring team right now.
Yeah, I know PCO Sports is practice uniforms included, so that makes sense. Thank you for clarifying. Do you mind translating?
Sure, so la pregunta fue de cómo ahorita aquí ven que se está pidiendo una transferencia de fondos para poder pagar y comprar uniformes para los equipos de deportes aquí. Estamos haciendo las preguntas de qué tipos de uniformes vamos a comprar, si también están pidiendo en las recaudaciones de fondos dinero para poder comprar porque hay uniformes permanentes que usan en los juegos y los que usan más permanente se quedan en casa o se quedan en la escuela para el año que viene que los puedan usar otros estudiantes. Pero las camisetas y la ropa de práctica, eso se quedan los estudiantes con esos uniformes.
Does anyone else have questions? This is just a genuine question. What is career day?
So, awesome to have the question. The Career Day is a day that we're trying to target to bring in 2 professional speakers by all teachers. And we introduce these 2 professionals to our students for a Q&A session where we can just get to learn about different professions that exist. And you'll travel from one class to the next, and every teacher will have visiting professionals that are going to talk about their current profession. So this is again to share with our students on Career Day in March, or I believe it's in the first week of March. Están haciendo una pregunta que ¿qué es el día de carreras? Ese día es donde nosotros invitamos a 2 profesionales para que vengan a nuestros salones. Cada maestro invita 2 para que pueda hablar de su vida, de cómo llegó a esa profesión o a esa carrera, para que aprendan los estudiantes también, los que están pensando en esas mismas carreras o los estudiantes que simplemente necesitan un poco de ayuda de una dirección de estudio. So, en ese día vamos a traer diferentes personas de hablar de su profesión.
Other questions?
Mi duda es, por ejemplo, con el mismo de los uniformes, ¿sería solamente para todos los equipos de todos los, resumen todos los equipos de voleibol, fútbol, tanto femenino como masculino? ¿Sería para todos o en específico cierto?
Es nada más para los que están, los equipos que están jugando ahorita en esta temporada. So, los otros equipos que ya jugaron durante cuando empezamos el año, ellos ya se les hicieron esos compos de lo que estaban usando ellos de uniforme o necesidades, posiblemente como el equipo de fútbol americano. A ellos se les inspecta todos las cosas que usan, como los helmets que usan, que le ponen los cascos pues, en su cabeza. Y todos los gastos se hacen en esa temporada de cada equipo. So, esto va a ser nada más para los equipos que van a jugar durante esta temporada. So she was asking again, what the utilize teams, and I was just explaining to her that the teams that are benefiting from these current funds are teams that are playing spring sports or during this particular season. That as the school year started, the athletic director put in orders for those various teams when they were playing. And now it's the spring sports, so these purchases are focused on only the spring teams.
Other questions? Okay, does anybody want to make a motion on the budget transfer?
I'll make the motion to approve the budget transfers as written.
I'll second.
All in favor? One abstention. Any opposed?
And then LSC election updates.
Okay, so
Oh,
están preguntando, la presidenta está preguntando sobre información sobre las elecciones para los nuevos miembros del Concilio Local Escolar. Please take a look at the sheet that I provided. This is the back part of the sheet. It shows all the people who submitted their nomination for the LSC. Aquí está la lista oficial de los candidatos para el Concilio Escolar Local que solicitaron este año. Las elecciones van a ser en marzo, 11 de marzo. The elections is are perdón, April 11. So va a ser abril 11, mejor dicho, discúlpeme. For the record, it's going to be April 11. En abril 11 de abril. Durante el reporte, la recogida de calificaciones que se hace, que es la casa abierta, también se conoce como casa abierta, es la recogida de calificaciones de los estudiantes. Todos los maestros y los padres están en la escuela y en ese momento hay una oportunidad para todos los miembros de la comunidad de la escuela, estudiantes, padres, maestros, ejercer su voto para los nuevos miembros de esta junta. Y los miembros de esta junta están en la lista, en este mismo listado está en la oficina de la entrada de la escuela. This is for Partake Day. During that day, the entire community, parents, students, teachers, and community will be able to come and vote for the new members of the local school council. And the list is published in the main entrance of the school of all the people who are candidates. In addition, I would like to add that the statements that each one of the candidates wrote is also published in that case. También quiero indicar que las manifestaciones que hicieron cada candidato de por qué quieren volver a participar como miembros o quieren ser candidatos o nominados para ser miembro del Concilio Local Escolar está también indicado Does anybody have any questions about the local school council election? ¿Alguien tiene una pregunta? Sí, al momento hay. Okay, so she asked me, these are it. I said, yes, at the moment there's only 3 parents. What you see there, 2 communities running, 3 teachers running, and 2 students running. So al momento existe 3 padres corriendo, 2 miembros de la comunidad, 3 maestros corriendo y 2 estudiantes. I would like to add that it's still vacancy for more parents, but unfortunately, we can only vote them in. They will not be able to run for this elections. So quedan 3 vacantes de padres y desafortunadamente no pueden correr para estas elecciones, pero sí podemos como concilio considerar la solicitud y votar para que ingresen a nuestro concilio. In terms of the community, there's only 2 candidates and there's 2 vacancies. So, en términos de la comunidad, hay 2 vacantes y 2 personas corriendo. In terms of teachers, there are 3 running, but there are only 2 vacancies. En términos de los maestros, hay 3 maestros corriendo, pero solamente hay 2 posiciones para maestros. So, dos de las 3 personas van a ser elegidas. Only 2 of the 3 people will be voting. And hay 2 posiciones más para estudiantes.
The election for the teachers, is that held the same day?
Yes.
Okay.
The only election, pregunta ella si las elecciones de los maestros se llevan ese mismo día. Sí. Las elecciones son el día 20, va a ser el día 11 de abril, durante ese día de padres de recogida de calificaciones. Los maestros, la comunidad y los padres pueden votar en esas elecciones. Los estudiantes van a tener una elección aparte en el comedor, donde ellos van a seleccionar sus candidatos. Okay? So what I was saying is, the parents, the teacher, and the community are going to be voting on April 11th. And the election in the cafeteria, I think it's the day before. I need to look that up, but we will make announcements for that. So students will get elected the day before our election.
This is close to the election day.
This
It's
is-
possible,
Right.
but it's not mandatory. There's still a level of flexibility for the students. But
Yeah, just like 3
Yeah.
days window.
Right. And it makes sense because it's a non-attendance day that we would want it to be
Right.
during the school day.
And the students vote for students.
Yeah, exactly. Just a reminder to everybody currently on the LSC, particularly those of you who are not able or who have not chosen to run for next year. We were all elected to serve all the way through the end of this school year. So whoever is elected in April will not begin until the summer 2024 after school is out and we have organization meetings.
So, indica la señora Kearns que los miembros que están en este momento en el concilio van a estar sirviendo hasta el último día de escuela, que sería en junio. La nueva junta elegida en abril comenzará en julio del año escolar siguiente. De este año, pero el próximo año escolar. So, comienza en julio los nuevos miembros.
So if there are parents here who want to join the LSC, they can do it in July's meeting, not as candidates, but as like appointed, or not
So-
appointed, but
You're asking me? Yes. They can actually, there's 2 ways of doing this. If a parent wants to run now, because there are vacancies, we can, as a local school council, approve them. But they will not be part of it in July. And people, once we are organized as a LSC, we can re-vote them in, yes. But they will be serving the term from now to June. Okay? So, la pregunta que hizo el señor Zaragoza es si los padres los padres que sean invitados ahorita mismo pueden participar o van a comenzar en julio. Yo le estoy diciendo, si hay algún padre que está interesado en ser miembro en este momento, podemos nosotros considerarlo y hacer la votación para invitarlos a pertenecer a la Junta ahorita, pero va a terminar su término en junio. Cuando se constituya nuevamente esta junta en julio, podemos volver a invitar al padre a que ingrese. Pero no va a ser por elección ese padre. Ese padre va a ser por invitación. So, saying that would is not a voting. So, the vote happens in April for July. La votación ocurre en abril para los candidatos que sometieron sus nominaciones para ser votados ahora en abril para comenzar en julio. Only for those who submitted their applications.
So, cuando dice por invitación, digamos si hay un padre X acá que está interesado en ser parte del concilio, ¿ellos nomás tienen que esperar por una invitación de nosotros? ¿O
no, ellos pueden solicitar. Invitación me refiero a solicitarlo.
Yeah.
Mi término de invitación era, digamos, ellos solicitan y entonces nosotros lo consideramos.
So,
Y votamos.
So, nomás tienen que presentar la aplicación que todos tienen que hacer y luego les decimos qué bueno, vengan con nosotros para incluirlos en los 3 puestos que tenemos vacantes ahorita.
Sí.
Yes. So he was asking about how do they get in, and we were clarifying because I used the word invitation, but it's not necessarily invitation. They have to apply. So we were clarifying that they have to apply, and this group will consider and welcome them into this LSE. Okay.
I also just wanted to note for the notes as well that I will have to be leaving at 7.
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting close to make sure she does.
Miss Madam President, just to let you, I already told you earlier. Yes, you were there. Okay.
Okay.
But no, not now, at 7. Yes.
Okay.
So we need to talk about the date for the LSC election candidate forum. And do you want to explain what that means?
Oh, yes. So there's a candidate, I forgot about this, but yeah, there's a candidate forum that's going to happen in March 11th through the 19th, and we as a local school council will have to select the date that we would like to have the forum. After that date is selected, we send out notifications and letters to the entire community informing them of this forum. Okay, in the forum is it's going to be in person, but it also has a virtual signing. So it's a hybrid type.
Okay.
So the participants should be here present, but the community can be streaming online. So that date is important that is decided today in this meeting so that we start publishing when the forum is going to happen. And then after that we send the links and everything, then the forum will happen that day. So me está preguntando sobre what's the translation for forum? Forum. Foro. Yeah, un foro. Okay, gracias. So va a haber un foro donde los candidatos que aplicamos para ser miembros de la Junta para el año que viene, este grupo tiene que decidir cuándo ese foro se va a efectuar. Ese foro va a ser aquí en forma presencial con los candidatos y personas que quieran venir, pero también va a haber una opción virtual donde ustedes en su casa pueden participar en este foro. ¿Ok? Y el foro es simplemente para hacer preguntas y respuestas por sus candidatos y investigar por qué quieren correr para el concilio. Okay? So it's basically Q&A questions that happen in the forum where people ask questions of why they would like to be members of the, why we would like to be members, the people who are running. would like to be members of the Global School Council.
Y también simplemente para escuchar a los candidatos, para que cuando venga esa fecha de abril y ustedes tengan que votar, ya saben un poco de los candidatos.
That's good.
So also simply to listen to the candidates as they speak. You don't have to ask questions.
Yeah, you know.
But if you're listening, you're at least better informed as to how you want to vote in April.
So vote for me.
We have to decide today for that form.
Yeah, we have to decide today for the form. If it doesn't happen, then the principal can decide today.
So the 11th through the 19th is from Monday to the following Tuesday in the middle of March.
And we have an LSC meeting on the 20th, I believe.
Does the entire current LSC need to be there for that?
Whoever's the candidate, yes.
Okay, but so for example, the students who are about to graduate, if they cannot
No.
make it, it's not mandatory.
Only candidates.
Okay, that makes more sense. Okay,
Yeah, it's not an LSC meeting, it's just a candidate forum.
okay, that's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure before we go over. the
So
select
solamente
committee,
las personas
so
que
they
tienen
don't
que
feel
presentar son los
pressured.
candidatos que van a escoger para el año siguiente. Y tienen que ser en forma presencial, sí.
Need a credit?
So it can be the 15th, it's a Friday.
I know that, Mr. Flores's availability, he said is ideal, on Mondays or Thursdays, and he is a candidate. Would either of those days work for other people? Like, he's had a lot of evening meetings for Thursday.
I work for the next.
Okay. So Thursday.
Thursday,
Evening.
could it be the 14th?
Yeah.
11th through the 19th.
Do the 14th, I just have to move it down.
Would that work for you? And Jacob too? Just you or?
Well, we have to meet on the 20th, right?
We do, but this is in addition, this is because you are running to be on the LSC again.
Yes.
So you would have to be at this where just like people can ask us questions.
I know, but mine is always Fridays, unless I request it.
Okay.
So, the 15th?
So we can separate.
The 15th, but
Oh, you're-
there's Zaragoza.
I mean, it's actually.
Oh, you want Wednesday?
I don't
We're
think
not gonna take this. And we don't really have a forum. Like, we don't have a competition. Only the parents are going to the matter here.
I mean, we. Yeah. It's more than, if you would like to.
Yeah. Yeah. I can do my Thursday. I don't know if it's your school.
I mean, I'm right here.
Sí, porque el programa de las exposiciones están vacantes.
Yeah.
Estudiantes tienen que votar por eso.
Thank you for coming. Okay, yeah, whichever works.
Pero para mí son los dos y quedaría una vacante. En agosto podemos coger tu aplicación y entonces, digamos, tú y tu amiga andas con el correo, una contra la otra.
Sí, ese era el
So which days do you work for you?
I am checking with Freedom to find out if he can do Friday.
Yeah, it's not Friday for sure. But I know for him,
I can't do Mondays. I can work something out the other days, just Monday, Friday.
so Mondays is a no-go.
That's
Perfect. So Friday works. Friday works.
Mr. Escamilla, how much time do these usually take?
I would say people generally speak no more than a couple of minutes. The thing they throw out is if they have questions where after they share a little bit about why they're interested in joining the council, that maybe a question throws them off, but it is usually like people speaking, I would say no more than 4 minutes a piece. They usually speak like 2 minutes and then another 2 minutes for questions. So around that time.
And then the last part of that, I believe, is where we select by lottery the order in the ballots. You know, the order that the names are going to appear in the voting ballots. So,
Se hizo la pregunta de más o menos cuánto tiempo se necesita y cada candidato a veces habla más o menos por 2 minutos y deja otros 3 minutos para preguntas, o también depende en las preguntas que tienen para los candidatos, pero más o menos como, yo me imagino no más de 5 minutos.
I personally don't think it's going to be more than half an hour to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yo creo que no va a ser más de media hora a 45 minutos.
Jacob, would Friday, March 15th work for you?
That was only for the adults, not the students.
Oh, the students aren't there at
No, they can participate in the forum.
the, okay.
They don't have to be here, do they?
No, they don't have to because they have their own.
Yeah,
They do have a
they
forum
do
of their
their
own.
own.
That would make
Okay.
sense to have it during the school day for them.
I will need to
Okay.
double check that. I'm a little bit confused right now.
Okay.
We will revisit that.
For the student portion.
Yeah.
The students can be part of it. We just don't have it.
The election is separate, but the forum, they can participate in the forum. Is the,
But the students doesn't have to.
I don't know yet. Those are questions I need to figure out. I will figure that out.
Is there, is it 6 earlier Friday? Okay.
6 p.m. the 15th.
Yeah. Do we need to have a formal motion and vote on that, or?
I would say so.
Okay.
So this is for March 15th or April
March 15th for the candidate forum.
at 6 p.m.?
Yeah.
It will be here at Foreman, hybrid form.
Yes.
So se ve que posiblemente el foro va a ser para el marzo 15, que es un viernes a las 6 de la tarde. Puede ser en persona o lo pueden ver por computadora.
I can make that motion for that. Do we have a second?
I second. Okay.
All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion passes.
O sea que el objetivo de que nos citen a nosotros es servir como de testigos de la reunión, o si es que no, la verdad no entiendo.
Esta reunión?
Sí.
Okay. You get like mentioned?
She just wants, si le entendí, tú quieres clarificación de lo que van a hacer los candidatos después que.
No, el motivo de ella estar presente aquí.
Sí,
Oh,
motivo
ok.
de ella estar presente. Creo que más que todo somos obvio el consejo de escuela para los padres estar informados de qué es lo que está sucediendo en la escuela. Por ejemplo, acabamos de mirar que los maestros tienen que pasar un proceso para recaudar fondos para los estudiantes, que serían sus hijos. Si sus hijos están en deportes, ellos, si les llegan a ustedes con una caja de chocolates, como dijeron los otros maestros, que ustedes preguntan, bueno, ¿para qué vas a tener tus aprobamos lo que los maestros están haciendo para sus estudiantes. Y ustedes, la participación de ustedes es importante porque si se enteran ustedes, porque mi hijo está llegando con una caja de chocolate.
Ah, ok.
Les digo porque muchos de sus hijos siempre son los que llegan con la caja y ustedes, oh, ustedes venden chocolates, algunos les dicen, algunos, oh, yo les doy.
Este está gobernado por el acto público. So tenemos que hacer esto público. Se está grabando en este momento y toda esta información está en la internet, en nuestra página de internet, porque es una actividad oficial, pública, porque trabajamos con gobiernos, como fondos del gobierno. Ok, so tiene que hacerse pública. Su presencia aquí, y respondiendo directamente a su pregunta, no es, si usted no quiere estar voluntaria, simplemente para escuchar, y como ocurre una vez por semana, una vez por mes. Hay otras juntas que te voy a decir que quizás envuelven un poquito más a los padres directamente, porque hay más participación, como el programa bilingüe y el PAC. ¿Entiendes? Hay un concilio de padres bilingües y un concilio de padres generales. Ella es la presidenta del PAC, del concilio de padres de la escuela. Entonces, hay otro presidente para el concilio de padres bilingües. Esa junta es completamente en español. So, todas las juntas son voluntarias, pero donde hay más participación activa de los padres es en esas últimas dos. Este es como un concilio formal que gobierna, este grupo gobierna esta escuela con el director.
Y luego siempre tenemos que abrir estas juntas para la audiencia de nuestra comunidad. Si quieren participar en simplemente viendo, o también si quieren decir algo, se pueden apuntar aquí en la lista para decir algo y tener 2 minutos de dar su opinión en algo.
No sabía, quería saber cuál era nuestra participación.
Es más bien de oyente en este momento. Y si quieres participar, puedes participar, pero se anota en la lista y entonces expresa lo que quieres expresar. Okay, so we were trying to clarify the whole situation of what she was asking. What was her purpose here in the meeting, and she wanted to make sure that
Ms. Foreman had a question as to whether she
No, I'll say that she's a brand new parent. Her son started like 3 days ago.
Ms. Vasquez?
No, this parent. So she probably got the email information and the connection. So yo estoy reportando de que por conocimiento propio su hijo acaba de ingresar aquí como dos o 3 días y quizás tú recibiste alguna notificación por correo electrónico, por correo, donde provocó que usted viniera a esta junta. O sea, y bienvenida.
Gracias por venir.
Gracias por venir, ¿no? O sea,
No, vale, me parece bueno porque uno sabe cuáles son los temas y qué es lo que van a hacer, o sea, cuál es el programa que van a hacer.
y todavía no hemos empezado con reporte del director también, porque eso es mucho más.
Tenemos en la escuela y en el internet 48 horas antes de la junta para que sepan que va a estar aquí. Si quiere, le podemos enseñar después de la junta cómo encontrar la agenda, los minutos y todo para que pueda ver qué hemos hecho en los últimos meses o hasta años. Y así para la próxima va a saber cuándo es, a qué horas, puede traer otros padres de la escuela o su hijo. Y así se pueden involucrar un poco más en el concilio, en la escuela.
Me parece importante porque, por ejemplo, yo soy de Colombia y en el colegio de mi hijo nunca tenían en cuenta como la decisión de los padres, siempre lo hacían a puerta cerrada. Entonces me parece bueno que pues lo tengan en cuenta.
Y quizás maybe para la próxima lo podemos poner en la agenda donde incluimos un minuto de introducciones breves de los padres. Más para conocer a mi hija o soy miembro de la comunidad, nomás para conocer a la audiencia un poco más.
Do you think we should stick some of the agenda out in the email that goes out, so that people have that, when they get the email saying our LSC meeting is coming up, to also have the agenda for people who didn't realize already.
There's always a delay on the website one.
Yeah, but if you don't know where to look for it,
Yeah.
if you don't go to the website, it's easy to miss.
I need to figure out how to do that.
I had trouble the
Okay.
first month finding that link on the website. And
Because you have to go through the drop downs.
Yeah, and I'm pretty good at technology. I couldn't find it. So.
Okay. No, what I mean is the email sends a link directly to that page.
Oh.
Okay.
To where the thing is, yeah.
Okay.
The email. But I cannot figure out how to put that whole address. No.
We can follow up and yeah.
The link. It's hard to put it.
We can follow up and see if we can do that.
Is Karen Maria Vasquez in the audience today? ¿Alguien de nombre Maria Vasquez?
No.
Okay.
She's not here.
Will you email her tonight or tomorrow to let her know the date? I know that the mass email will go out, but to let her know right away since she is a candidate.
She knows she's a candidate.
But she doesn't, to let her know when the forum is.
It's going to go to everybody at the same time, yes.
Oh,
That communication to everybody.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure that she has it like ASAP.
Everybody's going to get it at the same time. Yeah.
Okay.
We decided the date the communication goes out at the same time.
Alright. Anything else about that? Other questions or anything else you want to add before we move on to the reports?
Una pregunta más antes que vamos a los reportes.
We didn't have it. Okay.
It's good.
No, not it's president's report.
So I know that it is already after 7, so I will make my report brief. We discussed last time it wasn't officially in the minutes and we didn't have quorum. Mrs. McKay has stepped down from her position. Because we have several things that are going to be a little bit more in-depth, like to go over trying to fill that position for the rest of the school year. We have some updates from the district regarding the school board is about to vote to remove the SROs, and also there's been a change in status. I got an email from the district something about the school being on probation, and I think that'll be a lengthier conversation that needs to be had. And then we have the CIWP presentations that we need to schedule. And I think last year we voted, like we did the principal evaluation and the budget in the same meeting, and then the school safety plan was like in a regular meeting. I think it would have been more helpful for us to have a special meeting beforehand as well to say, like, let's go over the status of where we are on those things to see what's changing instead of just here's the new proposal. So there will be some upcoming, within the next day or two, I will send out a Google survey to go over availability for all of that. So just please look out for that, so that we can get those, so that they're not adding on to make particularly long regular meetings, and so that we can just really focus on those things. And
Can we discuss part of what you just said?
yeah, I figured that you would actually go over part of that in your, or that you put in your report, unless you want that to be during.
Sure.
Because we all have to watch the training videos on things like the budget and the principal evaluation, but we probably did them months ago. Please, over the next couple of weeks, review them when you have a chance so that the information is fresh. One of you please translate that.
Finalmente la presidenta nos dice que algunas cosas de importancia que tiene que notar. Uno de los miembros del concilio, la señora McKay, ha asignado su posición. Así que vamos a tener que hablar cómo eso se va a mirar para cada otra persona en el momento, en el temporal, para poder acabar el año llenando esta posición. También ella habló sobre van a sacar los policías de las escuelas, algo que el distrito ha tomado una decisión sobre las tablas, sobre cómo se va a impactar la situación aquí en la escuela. También quería recibir comunicación que la escuela posiblemente pueda estar en aprobación de la escuela, cómo vamos a presentar la información del plan que hemos pasado aquí para la escuela para los próximos CIWP de 2 o 3 years. Por los próximos 3 años.
What, the CWP?
CIWP.
It's for the 3 years.
Por los próximos 3 años. También la última vez que hicimos la evaluación del principal también lo hicimos con el presupuesto de la escuela, era mucho, so ya quiere ser esas juntas especiales preparadas para que podamos ir calificando adelantado y va a mandar una forma para agarrar la información del concilio, qué días posiblemente serían buenos para tener esas juntas especiales. Y también él está pidiendo a los miembros del concilio que por favor revisen y ven de nuevo los videos del concilio. Los entrenamientos son 9 videos que tenemos que ver para ser parte de este concilio, que ella recomienda que todos revisen y vean y sacar memoria de las diferentes reglas y cómo podemos hacer las diferentes cosas que tenemos que hacer, que son parte de nuestra posición aquí.
I just want to make a motion to approve or accept the resignation of Ms. McKay for the records and to make it vacant for consideration and openings on other people.
I don't think that we can hold a vote on that because it wasn't on the agenda, but we will.
It is on the agenda, no? Oh, it's on, okay, my bad. I thought it was under the LLC report.
Yeah,
Make
but
it vacant.
what we can do is just make sure that, and that's why I'm hoping that we have a special meeting before that, the next regular meeting.
That's
so that
right.
one of the agenda items is to declare that vacant and discuss what, the timing and the process for opening that, because it would be ideal if we have a regular meeting with anybody who has applied and so on at that point, to bring it.
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah, my hope is that we can have our special meeting within the next 1 to 2 weeks, depending on availability, to give time for all of that to play out before our next regular meeting.
Okay, yo estaba haciendo una moción para hacer vacante la posición de que está disponible de personal no docente y la señora Karen dice como no está en la agenda, no podemos hacer esa moción, pero sí lo podemos considerar para la próxima junta especial que vamos a tener en las próximas semanas cuando ella haga ese llamado a la junta.
Yeah, and then I'm done, so if you were next on the agenda, if you want to just start with your follow-up on that.
So yeah, well, one of the things that my report is very general, but I can go over it. But what I wanted to build on the progress presentation. And so what I'd like to do is try to determine what would be some good dates. That's also, that can either be done within an LSC meeting, but again, we're going to have to carve out a big chunk of time and it makes for a longer meeting. Or we can just simply present. And we can present that ideally with members of our LSC, members of the people who were working on the progress reports of the CIWP. From Culture and Climate and our instructional leadership team. But I would need to determine what would be a couple of good options so I can bring this back to them so that they can then connect with us from the LSC. And then perhaps we don't necessarily need to call for an LSC meeting, but we can call for a presentation where we record it. We can do another hybrid model where it's recorded on our YouTube site. For people to view. But I was wondering if, because you mentioned 1 to 2 weeks, the end of the third quarter is March 22nd, and obviously that parent report card pickup is April 11th. And so what we would have done is completed a reflection of the first 3 quarters already. But I think that the next question is, what would be some dates that we should be considering for this presentation?
And I did reach out to them just to find out what sort of time, how much lead time they need for when we make that decision to when they're ready to present. So Ms. Tracy, Ms. Guy, and Sergeant, they said that they would feel better, not just having the chairs of those committees present, but to actually consult with the teams and possibly have some of the team members there. So I think we might have to wait to hear, I need to confirm with the district, but I don't think that the entire LSC has to be present for that.
Correct.
Which is helpful in terms of scheduling because trying to get all of our availability and all of their stuff. There was a request from them, as you're saying, to meet until after the third quarter ends, because of commitments that they already have, but they requested to now do it at report card pickup. They brought that, I remember you suggesting it in the fall, and they said it just was too much of a juggling act to be there for parents, doing it. But if we could do it in between then, I think that would be great. I mean, you don't have to set the date for that tonight, because we'll be having special meetings come between now and our first meeting. You know, because we've got that ball rolling, we can just sort of choose that at the special meeting. If that is, because we can't even vote on it right now, even if it wasn't on the agenda.
So right now, you're suggesting a window before the parent report card
Even
pickup.
that could be, well, right after the 22nd,
After
spring break,
22nd
right?
is spring break.
Yeah, so it would be when we return, like in the first week back from spring break, most likely.
I got the
22nd is until the 2nd, April 2nd is spring break.
Spring break says, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, that Thursday.
No,
That Sunday.
March 22nd is the end of the third quarter, is what I'm saying.
Correct. And the spring break starts right after that.
Right, the following week.
So following week, yeah.
Yeah, so that is their time off.
So estamos hablando de fechas y cuando se podemos hacer un foro.
Which then only leaves the week of the 8th through the 11th.
Yeah.
So
And that's kind of report card day.
the 11th is the report card day. Yes.
Yeah.
And we got those dates, so 8, 9, or 10 of
Yeah.
April.
Well, 9 is a PSAT. I don't know how much impact that has on us. It's a PSAT. The SAT, actually, not the PSAT.
I have little to no impact since it's adults presenting, and we would probably present in the afternoon. But I can at least bring back those dates of the 8, 9, or 10.
So estamos hablando de diferentes fechas entre abril 9, 10 y 11. El 11 es el día de la recogida de calificación de padres, las elecciones y todo eso. Y el día 9 es el examen de admisión a la universidad para estudiantes de grado 9. De manera que el director indica que no hay ningún impacto en cuándo se va a hacer esta junta especial. Porque básicamente adultos en los casos. No es parte de esa junta que se va a llevar a cabo.
So I'll bring that to the team to determine one of those 3 dates of the 8th, 9th, and 10th.
So vamos a determinar los equipos que van a estar trabajando en esta reunión. Va a hablar con el director, va a hablar con esos equipos para determinar una fecha para esa junta. Sí.
I think we're going to share the presentation. So right now, we are currently, saw no change in our enrollment. We are at 637 students at Foreman. Tenemos 637 estudiantes en el edificio. Nuestro promedio de asistencia es 77%. Our attendance rate is 77% overall. Again, which hasn't changed from the last time. Our current English language learners on record are 51% of our entire student body, and 19% are students with IEPs or 504 plans within our school. Right now, we are still only in search of a CTE/art teacher. And part of in the haystack where they have both digital media CTE endorsement and a traditional visual arts endorsement. Right now, we're trying to work with one particular candidate so that he can take the test, the art test, and then get a temporary license until the state gives them enough time to complete that art endorsement. But they are endorsed in CTE. It's just very difficult to find someone with both of those endorsements. Ahorita estoy explicando que estamos buscando un maestro para arte digital, pero también para nuestras clases tradicionales de arte visual. Estamos buscando ese maestro. Last time I reported that I was going to seek out overtime indicators from the district, which they did provide me 13 overtime indicators, which means there are 13 additional classes that teachers are helping us take on in addition to the classes. El distrito nos dio 13 clases adicionales para poder ofrecer, porque teníamos más estudiantes que originalmente pensábamos a tener para este año escolar. Como hay esa necesidad, yo pedí al distrito que me den más oportunidades para ofrecer a los maestros clases para enseñar y cubrir todos esos créditos que necesitan nuestros estudiantes. So again, that need was covered by the district, and we also have one position of a security officer currently onboarding. So that person is onboarding as we speak. It probably will start either at the end of this week or at the start of next week. Teníamos otra posición de seguridad también que necesitábamos, y esta persona ya la están haciendo el proceso de su aplicación por el distrito. Va a empezar al fin de esta semana o para la semana que viene cuando empieza esa su trabajo de seguridad. So we're talking about when we determine those potential 3 days in April to present our monitoring of our CIWP. Our teams have been reflecting and trying to go item by item in our CIWP action steps to see, well, what have we done, what have we accomplished, and where's the evidence. Tenemos ese plan del CIWP, que es un plan de 3 años de la escuela, que nos ayudan maestros, estudiantes, padres a hacer este plan, y luego consideramos nuestras acciones a tratar de tener éxito con las metas y planes que son parte de este plan. Y cada 10 semanas estamos reflejando en las acciones que hemos dicho o escrito en el plan y vamos a cumplir. Y lograr en esas áreas o qué nos falta cumplir para poder terminar el plan. So again, we're reflecting on all this. We have this all ready to share and prepare. It just needs to go from a spreadsheet form to more of a presentation form of our progress.
Is this, under this page specifically, or the entire presentation in the Google Drive?
Is this spreadsheet?
Yeah.
No, it's not. I can make it viewable.
That would be great, just since we can.
Yeah.
It would be helpful for us to be able to look over.
Yeah. And there's 2 of them. So there's one for the
For each of the
goal around curriculum instruction, and one for around well-being and connectedness.
Thank you.
So again, we're targeting those 3 days in April for this. Lastly, I wanted to end this because we had we didn't have quorum in our last meeting, but we had a proactive about good conversation of something that I wanted to also make happen with the help and support of our local school council. And I know, Mr. Zaragoza, I just put your name out here because originally you started to feed into this idea, which I thought was great, in creating an event here. And I just came up with this benefits of Belmont trading to our Foreman families, but we can come up with a better name for it than that. And I was thinking about potential Saturdays where we can invite parents, whether in the mornings or in the afternoon, where we would have, the original idea was to have sessions, mini sessions that parents could take advantage of, and then stay longer for like an hour at the end to perhaps have an extended conversation with people that we invite to present to families. And what they would present about is basically how they can benefit from things around their community, like the benefits of opening a bank account. By our local, share that process and the benefits of opening a bank account. Things that they can explore for free in the city. We were talking about museum passes that at times are offered to or afforded to people who live in the city of Chicago. People may not know about things that they can take advantage of in terms of free offerings within the city, maybe even offering them small sessions around job interviews or resume preparation, and we discussed other options as well. And so these, again, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Zaragoza and Ms. Kearns, we were discussing this and we were saying that it wouldn't be that they would sit down there for like a 2-hour session, but rather they would get a tidbit of information, let's say on a particular bank, and then they would stay longer to have an extended conversation with the people that would be presenting and talking. And the dates I threw out that you may want to consider, but I know the planning of this is all in the logistics, right? We would have to find who we can invite to present to our families, create some sort of agenda for our families, and then probably create an RSVP system so that we can get an understanding of who wants to participate in these offerings, right? And then open it up to the community. But I just wanted to bring this up because I think it's a worthwhile cause to put some energy towards, especially if the entire LSC wouldn't mind supporting and helping. So, el último mes no teníamos junta, pero sí nos quedamos a hablar sobre una posibilidad de abrir nuestras puertas en un sábado para ofrecer a nuestras familias diferentes opciones de momentos que podamos seguir educando a las personas de la comunidad, como que nos puedan explicar qué son los beneficios y cómo es que podamos abrir una cuenta bancaria, o cómo podemos explorar la ciudad y cosas que son gratis aquí en la ciudad, o posiblemente opciones de cómo prepararse una persona para una entrevista profesional, o cómo preparar un resumen y poder recibir información de alguien en la comunidad que nos pueda ayudar. Pero eso nada más fueron unos temas, pero quiero invitar al señor Zaragoza, que también estuvimos hablando de la señora Kearns sobre este día y posiblemente una fecha.
We talked about 7 different ideas and programs that night. I did reach out to a couple of professionals who live in the Hermosa and Belmont Craven who were interested in, so yeah, like, I wasn't sure if we were going to follow through or not with this. But yeah, we did expand it to like 15 different topics. In case you wanted to do it similar to the way you're doing the career fair, where people get to choose which ones they're most interested in, and yeah, just go around the school and go to
with a very clear agenda and the room numbers. That'll be.
Yeah. You might even be able to combine it with the professional one and just do both at the same time. That might encourage different numbers of people to come in.
We can. It just gets a little muddy.
Yeah.
Whenever there's students in the building, and then if the volunteers or people who are coming into the building are going to stay a certain amount of time, and there's students in the building, then they have to. It's a right. And so prioritize student safety, and you don't know exactly who's coming into the building. So it's easier if they just apply for their own volunteer clearance and then come on a different day. But I agree.
Something to consider about if this is an official like LSC run event. First of all, we would have to approve it. Like we would have to wait until another meeting to make a motion. The other thing is all of the planning for that then we would either have to organize a committee for it officially, or we would need to, like, it would need to be done during meeting times and it's subject to the Open Meetings Act. If it's not done through the LSC, and LSC members are always able to participate in any events through Friends of Foreman, through sponsored by the school, whatever. But I do think that like going that route might make planning easier because of the Open Meetings Act and like the rules that we have to follow. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So if the front takes resources for it, do we still have to approve it as an LSC meeting? And if there's more than 4 LSC members for the town?
If there's more than 4 members and it is about LSC business, like we can be in the same place at an event. I mean, like we could all be at here for car pickup. We're not talking about LSC business. It is not subject to the Open Meetings Act. Okay. If it is through Friends of Foreman,
it's a part of fundraising.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that we're like outside. So the school is able, the LSC has to approve, but the school is able to be like as a site is able to open up the space for events like through Belmont Freedom United, for example. Or this could be something just put on by the school itself and not the LSC, where like Principal Escamilla could say, this is my project. Like, if you were forming a committee within the school, it's the open meeting sponsor.
Okay.
I would probably kind of would like it to be initiative from the LSC, giving to the community, giving to the school community, you know, like an effort that was done by this group. If that's what you think is possible, you know, like it's a school, it's an LSC event
Right.
for the entire community.
Then I think in order to be compliant, I think the easiest way to stay in compliance for that would be that at the first special meeting, we include that forming a committee for it.
Right.
So that we don't have to have the entire, like if people can't make it, it's not like, oh, we don't have quorum, we can't proceed. It's like the committee. And so do it at that point.
Okay, but wouldn't I be able to at least, like, for example, check in with you or meet with you on the phone to say, hey, were you able to get in touch? Yeah, without it necessarily being a meeting, if I'm checking in with individuals?
Yes, as long as we have less than 4 people. It is just that, like I said, we have to vote to approve this to be sponsored, and so we can't hold the vote on that without it being on the agenda. So that's why, like, you can talk about your idea tonight, and we can all give feedback on it, but at a subsequent meeting, we still have to go through, making the motion and all of that to be official, and we have to have quorum at that meeting in order to proceed with it. But yes, we're able to have some basic private conversations, and then the descriptions of the updates would just be in an open meeting to be documented in the minutes. Just like what you were saying about, I reach out to people that would then just be presented at the meeting to be in compliance. I know we just went over a lot. Do you feel like you can summarize it, that translating?
¿Cómo este evento posible? Gracias. Oh, she's gonna ask you.
Sí, se puede retirar. Sí, vamos a dejar. Sí. Como dije, esto es abierto. Pueden entrar y salir cuando quieran. Ya. Entonces, si se tienen que ir, pueden ir. Y la próxima reunión bilingüe, let me take an announcement. La próxima reunión bilingüe va a ser el 28 y va a ser virtual. Y te vamos a enviar una codificación para que lo puedas ver desde tu teléfono, ¿ok? Gracias por venir. She was asking to be excused.
and we need to stay, then we'll promote it.
So, in general, I'm just curious, would this be something to own and make their own, and then we would have to move forward in the way that President Kearns was suggesting, that we would have to then have meetings and potentially create a subcommittee that would lead the work and capture these in minutes.
It's probably the easiest way to do it to LSC, because when I was in the LSC at College Park, we did something similar to it, but we met outside of the school, and it was like 4 of us, and then we got a call saying we can't, even though we were discussing LSC business, we're still school business that impacted the stuff that we did, and we just wanna, I think, just safer to do it the right way, even though it's a little bit, like, slower to play.
Yeah, no, I can see it, and I just want to make sure that if we want, as an LSC, want to take it on, that we take it on, and the credit is, I can easily say, well, this is a great idea, I'm going to get 5 random teachers and help me, and I'll still call you, and I'll still call, Jessica to get input, but then it'll just be a Foreman thing, it won't be LSC, Foreman's LSC, their initiative.
Can I say, ask this question? What if it was 2 members of the LSC, and then there's a subcommittee that is not related to the LSC, like others, teachers and parents? So the 2 members are LSC members, but then you might have another 5 other members from the community,
Right.
Like the school, and that becomes the, but the 2 members are the LSC members, are the one kind of reporting to us.
Right, and I would just need, I think that then that would make sense, like, if we designate like we vote to have a committee, and then they just report back, like, that becomes an agenda item on our meetings. I'll confirm with Ryan. I have a strong preference either way personally. I mean, this is an official vote, but because you're asking for feedback, my only concern is just that it is LSC, like, we have to make sure that we understand the steps, so that we are making sure that we are in compliance. And so, like, I think we would want to, it doesn't need to be done right now, but we would need to make a list of questions for Veronica that I can confirm to make sure we do it right.
Any other questions, just based on the idea in general, or any initial thoughts? Preguntas o ideas, nada más sobre este tema.
That's a really good tool. It would be a good idea, and since that takes interest from Canadian community, which are represented that, and you as a teacher for Foreman, be great for another way to bring parents and community together.
I just want to echo to the something can be happening. How grateful our families and communities are going to be about learning about this, all the different areas of the neighborhood and what things they can do to get accounts, and I think definitely will benefit them, especially with the mobility of parents that we have and the increment of, and if it can be in the language too of Spanish, the entire session. Some of them are mixed English and Spanish, but most of them should be in the native language of most of our family and population. That would be beautiful.
Yeah,
so estaba diciendo que sería bonito que toda talleres, esta actividad que se hace, se podría hacer el sábado, que se haga presentaciones a los padres, va a beneficiar a la comunidad, va a beneficiar a los padres, y especialmente que tenemos muchos padres que están llegando aquí a la comunidad que existe, que sería muy beneficioso para ellos, y especialmente si se hace en los idiomas completamente, o sea, sesiones completamente en español o sesiones completamente en inglés o mezcladas.
Our new neighbors that are coming into the neighborhood would benefit a lot from learning how to open a bank account, done in Spanish, how to use library resources which are free, but they might not be existing in other countries.
Right.
How to apply for jobs here. These are things that would help a lot, not just existing residents, but the new ones coming in.
Totally agree with you.
So, lo que dije es que para los nuevos vecinos que están llegando a nuestra vecindad, aprendiendo cómo abrir una cuenta de banco, cómo usar los recursos de las bibliotecas públicas de la ciudad de Chicago. Yo soy bibliotecario y yo estoy de Venezuela, de otros países que nunca han entrado a una biblioteca pública y tienen miedo a entrar, y yo los tengo que meter casi a fuerzas y enseñarles que hay. Pero también cómo encontrar un trabajo en la ciudad. Son cosas que pueden ayudar no nomás a los que existen aquí, los que ya tienen años viviendo aquí, sino a los nuevos vecinos, miembros de la comunidad.
¿Preguntas, comentarios?
¿No?
¿Es solamente, es para padres, estudiantes, los dos?
Y para los dos.
Si se prepara, si se organiza bien.
Yeah, young adults will be amazing only because I remember I was a translator for my family, and so like my mom could go to the meeting but she wouldn't get it, but I was the one who was like, oh well, here's how it benefits young adults too. Dije que yo pienso que también puede ser para los jóvenes, porque pues cuando yo estaba chiquito yo estaba traduciendo todo para mis padres, porque no hablaban en ese tiempo inglés. Yo pienso que también puede ayudar a los jóvenes también, porque pues ellos también pueden enfocarse en abrir una cuenta de banco y empezar a ahorrar ahorita, que es algo que bien no están haciendo ahorita porque no tienen una cuenta de banco.
So we could just keep these dates in mind. These are, again, Saturday dates. So if you're interested in giving me your input on what date is preferable, let me know. Si por favor tengan estas fechas en mente para que me puedan decir qué de estos sábados prefieren ustedes, posiblemente de tener este evento para las familias de la
And the committee can decide how long it will take, like how much lead time they need to plan.
One time?
Correct. But definitely, probably a Saturday date would be preferred.
A quick comment, if you don't mind, I know this is your time, so I apologize. But just for everybody, if you want to add things, because like we can't hold a vote unless it is on the agenda, always feel free to reach out to me to say, hey, at the next meeting, can we add this to the agenda? If you want to have anybody.
Que si por favor, antes de la junta, los miembros del concilio, si tienen cosas que quieran presentar y votar, pueden comunicarse con la presidente Kearns para que puedan agregar eso a la agenda. And I know we had our other reports, but we did have, from what I remember, one member from the community to participate in the public forum.
Yeah, I just emailed her, or said you, and you came in person. Fantastic. I bet you were doing virtually, so it's like, oh no, she's sitting there waiting. Okay, so that's just because of where it is on the agenda, we have to follow it. Your email says I'm going to adjust upcoming agendas so that is earlier, so if you keep coming, you don't have to wait. If you're welcome to, but you're not stuck with it. So our next update will be quick, and then it'll be your turn. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for your patience and for being here. Do we have a back update?
The only update I would like to give about the back is that the meetings are quarterly. So the quarterly number 8, and it's going to be virtual, and we're going to be sending out information to the parents about that meeting. So lo único que tengo que reportar sobre el BAC, que es el Comité de Asesor Bilingüe, que la próxima junta es en febrero 28, de la semana que viene, miércoles de la semana que viene, creo que es a las 6 de la tarde. Vamos a enviar notificaciones por correo electrónico y por texto a los padres para que se unan virtualmente, y lo pueden hacer a través de su teléfono. And you can do it through your phone.
Since we have a newcomer, do you mind just giving a quick explanation of what BAC, like the purpose of BAC is?
me está preguntando que dé la información sobre qué significa o cuál es el propósito del BAC. Y el BAC es el Concilio Asesor Bilingüe, es un grupo de padres bilingües que si, cuando vio la presentación, 51% de nuestra población es bilingüe, 51%. So, el comité de padres bilingües se reúne y toma decisiones para cómo mejorar y cómo hacer actividades para la escuela y qué participación pueden tener los padres para apoyar a los estudiantes y al currículo de la escuela.
Del programa bilingüe.
Del programa bilingüe. Específicamente el programa bilingüe. Okay.
Thank you. Anna, do you have a PAC update?
The PAC, we just had our meeting on February 12th, and we had a workshop for parents for the FASA, the FASA. And our next meeting is March 11th, and we're planning to give classes, English classes for that. Ahora, lo que es el Comité Asesor de Padres, tuvimos nuestra reunión el 12 de febrero, tuvimos un taller para padres para, ayudarles como a rellenar los papeles de PASA, que es una solicitud del gobierno para los estudiantes que quieran entrar a la universidad. Hubo un taller informativo para los padres. Y nuestra próxima reunión es el 11 de marzo, donde vamos a estar votando para darle la oportunidad a los padres de entrar a las clases de inglés. El comité asesor de padres es ayuda para los padres que están dentro de la escuela. Y al igual que el comité de bilingüe, en español es para ayudar a los padres. Eso es más para los padres de la escuela Foreman.
Mr. Rick, any way
No, for my knowledge.
And when do we have a PPLC?
No ha habido comunicación sobre el FOIA, que es Freedom of Information Act.
Es el permiso de pedir
información
sobre las juntas
públicas,
de estas reuniones públicas.
Y no ha habido ninguna petición para nuestra información. De manera que toda esta información está en la internet, lo más seguro la gente que quiera verlo puede verlo. So all the information is in the internet and our website. So anybody who probably request anything can just go ahead and see it.
Right, try and keep it so that nobody has to.
And it's open to everybody.
Do you have a PPLC update?
Yes, I do have a PPLC. We have been meeting we meet once a month at the first of each month. And working to teachers. And the purpose of the survey, I'm going to read it out loud, is to make recommendations to enhance teacher effectiveness, improve student learning outcomes, and promote collaborative and nurturing professional culture in our classroom, with a focus on SEL strategies and other identified needs. So teachers that are asked to complete a Google survey that will provide us with information, and we will collect data on this, and we're going to start evaluating that data and analyzing what the needs are, and so that it will give us feedback how we're going to be implementing SEL activities in the classroom and what things the teachers will need, as well as getting some feedback in terms of attendance. El propósito el comité del PPLC, que es el Comité Profesional de Maestros, que la doctora López y yo estamos dirigiendo, es para hacer recomendaciones para mejorar la efectividad de los maestros, mejorar los resultados de aprendizaje de los estudiantes y promover una cultura profesional colaborativa y enriquecedora dentro de nuestras aulas, con un enfoque, con estrategia de SEL y otras necesidades identificadas. La encuesta que se está haciendo, que están haciendo los maestros es para ayudarnos a obtener información sobre las necesidades que ellos tienen, en cuanto a cómo podemos mejorar y implementar nuestras actividades del FCCA en nuestra aula, y también poder obtener información de cómo la necesidad de los estudiantes en examen de clases. That's it.
No, I was just gonna
Yeah.
see if the students wanted to share anything. You guys want to talk a little bit about the initiative around more conversation, or anything that you all want to share. Los estudiantes si quieren hablar sobre el enfoque de pidiendo a los maestros más oportunidades de conversación, o si quieren discutir o dar información de cualquier tema. Whatever topic you'd like to share about, unless you want to talk about anything currently that we're doing.
After grades. I'm tired.
Okay. That's fair. It's been a long day.
Si quieres decir algo, o si quieres.
Desde aquí en clases vamos progresando más, las personas que hablan más inglés, los nuevos pues estamos apoyando entre sí. Pero acerca de los anuncios me gustaría como que hagamos un pequeño mural, sea en el área del lunch o alguna entrada, para que las personas se enteren, por ejemplo, de las tiendas que va a haber, puedan traer, prepararse para comprar, o incluso que van a empezar deporte. Por ejemplo, me pasó que los estudiantes me decían, ¿cómo entro para porrista? ¿Cómo entro para jugar? Entonces, para que se enteren en ambos idiomas, o sea, tenemos por ahí información, no solamente se habla de los alumnos, si algún padre quiere saber, ahí puede encontrar la información. Entonces, me gustaría eso para informarnos más a todos.
Like a bulletin board? Propaganda.
So she's asking if, right now she has everything that she's reporting, that everything's good in her classes, they're progressing with their learning of the English language. One other thing that she says that she noticed with friends is that she would probably appreciate clearer announcements in the cafeteria, so that people know when these fundraisers are taking place and what they're for, and or when there may be announcements around when different sports teams are starting up, that perhaps clarifying those announcements in the cafeteria would be useful. Public participation.
Yes, hi, I'm Melissa. I'm with the Office of Representative Lozardi. Our team is relatively new. We got a new office, we got a new staff in June, so this is my first time being here, so I'm super excited. Thanks for having me. In addition to having a new office staff, we moved this summer. So we are now at Central Park in Milwaukee, just trying this for accessibility. I have cards, our number. Yeah, I'm just sort of listen to concerns, learn about stuff that's going on at Foreman, share some office events as they come up. I also wanted to make a note about some of the things you guys mentioned today, like that free museum pass. Our office is getting one, so if that's something you're interested in sharing with folks, please reach out to us. It's a great resource, and we're excited to have it again. Also, the Open Meetings Act thing. There is legislation being created as we speak to fix that, because I know it's like a very strange system. So Representative Ann Williams is working on that. I don't have a House bill at the moment, but yes, if you just look it up on the ILGov website, it'll certainly say something exciting stuff. Another thing with that office, or the Foreman families thing that you guys mentioned, our office is totally down to help in any way we can, whether that be like actually being at the event and need help like staffing it, or promotion or anything like that. Just reach out to me. I think that's all I have. Thanks again for having me.
Thank you, Alyssa. And for those of you who remember the support from Illinois State Rep. Will Guzzardi's office, Emily Melby was routinely coming to our meetings or sharing things that are taking place that are coming from Will Guzzardi's office. And then through our long partnership with Will Guzzardi's office, we also qualified ourselves for a $300,000 grant that I know is going to take time and make its way to the school, but at least, this is what these nurturing partnerships should look like. It comes back and it benefits the school. So, Alyssa, thank you for introducing yourself, and we look forward to chatting with you in all of our meetings.
Alyssa, how's your Spanish? Do you need somebody to translate that?
Yes, my Spanish is not great. Thank you.
Totally fine. That's why we said, let's ask him.
So, Alisa, and you guys can help me, I'm guessing for the things that I forgot. I thought you were pointing this. Es de la oficina del representante del Estado, Will Guzzardi, y trabaja para esa oficina. Ella, su propósito es de venir a nuestras juntas, hacernos conocer su oficina y todos las acciones que vienen de esa oficina que pueden tomar ventaja a nuestras familias. También estaba diciendo, por ejemplo, pases gratis del museo, su oficina, y las familias pueden pasar por allí y recibir esos pases. Es un ejemplo de cómo pueden ayudar, pero también nos informan en otras varias cosas de cómo poder tomar ventaja de cosas que están pasando por nuestra comunidad. El representante de Will Guzzardi nos ha ayudado a nuestra escuela en el pasado, en ayudando con dinero, en ayudando a hacer arreglos a la escuela de $300,000. Todavía no nos ha llegado esos fondos, pero en el futuro nos va a llegar para poder ayudar a mejorar la escuela.
Hoy también que movieron la oficina a la Central Park y Milwaukee.
Thank you so much. Do we have anything else, or does anybody have a motion to adjourn? Or no?
Second, if there's not already a second.
Motion to end the meeting?
Yep, all in favor? Good night.
Good night. With your folders, you can take the side, everything on the side pocket, leave the middle pocket.
Jessica, if you want to sign yours, and then I'll just take yours and drop them off.
Actually,
Yeah,
yours are the one inside the.
Yeah, I realized, so I signed the ones that like are, you're signing, not realizing there was duplicates, so I'll sign
Those,
these.
because they don't have the hole. Gracias.
Oh, yes, definitely. It will happen, we just need to figure out a date. Yeah.
Mi compañero pertenece a trabajo, se llama Jesús y habla español, así lo que se puede ayudar.
Thank you.
Okay, gracias. Sí, de nada. I can give you a call to let you know when we get together for an event. If we create a subcommittee or anything like that, I can let you know. And maybe you can introduce us to other people that may want to chat during that event. Okay.
Also, by the way.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me.
Eric Porter.
And Eric Porter, yeah, we also had like tables set up for our community partnerships for them to set up a table and give information out on parent report card conference night.
That's a little starting to know.
To be what?
Use ability when my parents start. So,
Thank you.
That's it? That's it?
And then I just initialed Becker. I remember I said I was going to do a little bit of editing on the forms. I initialed it.
Oh,
So
okay.
if anybody's like, that's not the same writing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I always put in the middle section what you need to sign.
Yeah, I have writing. Like,
Yeah.
as I was flipping, I was like, great, I'll just sign this right along. And I was like, that's not even how that works.
Wait, it's all good.
But either way, like, I just want to make sure that I get it before I even leave tonight. So then I'm done. Okay. We build restaurants to go to college.
Yeah. She's like,
Where you headed?
we're going to roll and so I'm taking my parents.
Yes, that's what you told me.
Yeah, so a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, starting tomorrow. The agenda is just one museum per day. And then Sunday is just, they want to go to the Vatican and watch like a mass or just walk around. It's so chill, because my wife and I have been there before, my parents have never gone outside of the United States or Mexico. So it's literally just at their own 85-year-old pace.
Wow.
So yeah, so.
2 semanas, 2 weeks?
Almost, yeah.
Rome.
Rome.
Yeah. So.
So we have a special meeting within the next 2 weeks that happens to not be.
Possibly. If it's within the next, if it's in 2 weeks, I could be here.
Yeah, I know the women's book availability. I would like it to happen just because if you're voting to open up. Then I want to get as much lead before the next meeting as possible, so that hopefully we could accept applications in the timeframe and then at the next meeting.
Okay. I mean, depending on what time you have it, if you do virtual, I mean, it's 7-hour difference.
As long as we can perform, I just like but if there's things that you want to wait on, just send a message, and then I can present that, and then we'll introduce here's the things that are going to be likely on the agenda, and then it will be the first of multiple special meetings.
Okay.
So we'll be just like we're trying to lay groundwork, so that we're scrambling to get everything to go to the meeting and being like, we hope let's take the planning today. And there's no time to ask questions because we so that we can just text. That will be
I can tell you.
so other than going to build the rest of those information we will watch for just 3 minutes. It'll be
So how's your rent doing this time?
It's doing.
Do you get
Do I get what? Oh. It's like the ongoing solution. But it's always been tolerable. I never took pain pills like right after surgery. I didn't. Like, I see people that will take pain for other reasons. Like,
I'm one of those. I just.
Yeah, we submitted the prescriptions just in case, but like I made certain requirements, certain requirements for anesthesia with your rubber shit, and so we stayed. So I didn't have that abrupt transition from being unconscious to like being like, oh, this hurts. And so your ability to cope with like your endorphins and stuff is better. And I mean, I'm doing like 3 to 4 hours a day of rehab between the gym and PT and on my phone, and it pays off. I don't that I can do any of them. So because each one has different things, like I want to go swim, where they don't have a rowing machine in either of these ones. So now I can row. You know, it's like each week it's like, what will my PT authorize me to do this week? So everything I'm like, what are we adding to the report? So like now I can row going exactly, or like I can stick with it. I'm just running the exercise right every day. Traveling was a terrible idea. The pressure from the captain, like.
Oh really? Yeah.
On my way back, like at my layover in Denver, I was like, I've got to go see my physical therapist tomorrow. They gave a special massage to get the swelling out. And so when I went in the next day, she's like, I saw the alert saying you booked an appointment. I knew you were getting that last night, and they booked 2 back-to-back days, and she's like, I almost texted and said, is everything okay? But, like, she did that, and it hurt, like, to walk like 2 blocks when I got back from the trip. And I didn't even, like, I wasn't super active. I was there to start going through the things at my ex's parents' house. You know, now we're moving on to that step of affairs. And so I do that when I was like, I'm just struggling. And then the second day of PT, I left and I was on the phone, like I made a phone call. I was like, oh, go for a little walk while I'm on the phone. And all of a sudden I looked and I was like, I just walked 2 miles and like was fine. Like, it is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And then luckily, when you tend to do your physical therapy and then you walk, it's hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really